example of this. All right, so the first, we'll figure out what the tax rates are, okay? So let's say the first $10,000, all right, is free. All right, then we'll say the next $15,000 that gets us to 25, right? And that's taxed at 10%. We'll just try to keep the numbers simple here. All right, and then the next $20,000, or let's say, all right, $20,000. So that's 25, 1 to 45 is going to be taxed at 20%. All right, and then we will say the next $50,000. So that's 45, or 1 to 95, is taxed at 30%. And then anything above $95,000, we're going to tax at 40%. Okay? So now, let's imagine we have a rich guy here. Let's imagine we have a rich guy who makes $100,000 a year. Okay? So, the first thing we're going to do a few things. We're going to, in this column, in fact, I'm going to erase this and put it somewhere else. In this column, we'll just say taxable income. How much money does he have left that we can tax? Here we'll put the size of the bracket. Actually, I'm going to reverse it. Sorry. It's just easier to do. So we'll say size of bracket will be here. Here's the tax rate. Here's the tax bill. Right, just how much he has to pay in each bracket. And then back here, we'll keep a running tally of his taxable income. All right, so we're going to start off with $100,000. All right, now, so for the first bracket, how big is this bracket? $10,000. So this is how much of his income is taxable at this rate. All right? So if there's no tax on the first $10,000 that he earns, how much does he have to pay?
Zero.
Zero. All right. Now, how much taxable income is left after this?
90.
$90,000. He's already paid everything he owes, which is zero, on his first $10,000. Okay? So now we look at the second bracket. How big is this bracket?
15,000.
$15,000. So our next bracket is $15,000. We know he's got enough money to fill up the bracket the whole way, right? So, okay, $15,000 times 10%. What's his tax bill?
1,500.
1,500. All right. How much money does he have left? Well, 90,000. We've just taxed 15,000. So how much is left?
75.
75. Gina, you should probably stop it. Okay. So Juan, you're up next. Okay. $75,000 is left. Now the next bracket is from 25,001 to 45,000. So how big is that bracket? How much money? It goes from 25,000 $20,000 and the tax rate is 20%. So how much will he have to pay? It's $20,000, 20% would be $4,000. These are money. So he has to pay $4,000 on the next $20,000. That's what we're saying. All right. So now how much is left in his taxable income? 55. Right. We just taxed 20,000, so we subtract that here. He has $55,000 left. Okay. Now we move yet again to the next bracket. Okay. So how wide is the next bracket going to be? Okay, $50,000. All right. So we have $50,000, and again, it's just the same thing. Times 30%. So what's the tax bill going to be? 15,000. Okay. Okay. So now we had 55,000. We just taxed $50,000. So how much taxable income is left? $5,000. All right. And so now the government says, all right, if you're really rich and you have more than $95,000, which we do, we have 5,000 above that, we're going to tax what's left at 40%. So this, there isn't really a bracket here, but we know we're going to tax everything that's left over. Right? Now, if you're not so rich, you would also do this wherever you run out, right? Whatever you have left gets taxed at the next rate. Okay. So $5,000, 40% would be $2,000. Okay. Whoa, not this. That was here. Okay, $2,000. All right. So now we need to know how much money altogether does our friend have to pay. So we just use the power of addition here to add up all the. So we see for different amounts of money you get taxed at different rates. This is the idea of what this actually is here. This is actually the marginal tax rate. All right? We're saying for each additional dollar you earn, what is the tax rate? So we add it all together and we get
22,500.
It's $22,000. I'll take your word for it.
500.
Okay, so $22,500 out of $100,000. So now what the question was asking though, what is the average tax rate? So in order to figure that out, what we want to know is what percentage of his income is he paying in tax? So to figure that out, we just say, okay, he's paying $22,500 and dividing that by his total income, which is $100,000, and then of course, right, times 100, and so we get a tax rate of 22.5%. And so this is the average tax. Okay. So usually when there's a public debate in the government about the tax laws, oftentimes what they're talking about when they say the top tax rate is this number. So sometimes, at different points in American history, after the Second World War, this rate was as high as 90%. And you might think, that's crazy. How can you take 90% of someone's money? But actually, they
much of the money that makes Bill Gates, or Beyonce super billionaires went instead to